Today's stories include Insomniac's Wolverine is reportedly coming next year, Randy Pitchford goes on the offensive about Borderlands 4, and Hell Is Us director says they were affected by Silksong's release. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Monday, September 15th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing, Adeoye Jr. Joining me is WWE legend, Greg Miller.
Hello, Blessing. How are you?
I'm doing well, Greg. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. You know what I mean? The sun is shining. It's a brand new
Sun
week
is shining.
of video game content.
I did have that thought on my way to work where I was like, it feels extra bright today.
It's going to be hot today.
Yeah, it's going to be like 80 today.
Oh, God. I
yeah.
don't like that.
It sucks.
Might just stay in the office the whole day then.
All weekend it was also like warm but also muggy because of how like wet it was too. It was a weird weekend.
Yeah.
Weird, wild weekend.
Greg, how was your weekend?
It was great. You know what I mean? I didn't get to see much of Ben. Or Jen, for that matter. Or her sister who was visiting. Because I was in the lab. All right? I shut everything down. You know what I did? I just sat there 12 hours a day. Reading old EGMs, reading old IGN.coms. Because if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, not only did I win the Nick Scarpino season of Game Showdown, I did lead Team Blue to their third consecutive championship in Game Showdown. An unprecedented run from an unprecedented manager. And now, it all leads to this Friday, a brand new season of Kinda Funny Game Showdown.
How excited are you?
I'm so excited. And what I'm doing right now is begging, if not pleading with God and or Satan, to please bring me a worthy challenger. Andy, Tim, how long can it go on like this? Team Blue just destroying, undefeated in Kinda Funny Game Showdown. How long must I carry this strap on my shoulder? How many little Nick statues do I need to win, all right? Because I'm winning too many of them, apparently. And I don't want the views to fall. You know what I mean? You have done such a great job on this show. I want you to know, before we get there, before Roger comes in with some bad opinion that screws me over, I want you to know you've earned this, all right?
Oh,
I want you
you're
to
giving me the Outback Steakhouse gift card.
I want you to take the Outback Steak. And this isn't a bribe.
Wow.
I'm not saying you should remember on Friday that I gave you this free $25
I feel like
Outback
it's
Steak.
I feel like there's an implication.
You know?
There isn't. There's no strings attached, and
I don't know if I can accept
it
this.
should not come up on Friday.
Blessing, if you
I'm the
accept
only
it-
competitor here. Congratulating you, thanking you for this amazing show you've given us, that you've birthed. Roger tries to screw up every week.
I'm just saying, Bless, if you do accept it, there might be a call for your resignation.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in the middle of this table. You
just find it on the floor, and a blooming onion falls into your mouth. That just happens.
If I happen to walk out
Just
and
happens.
I'm cleaning up the desk on my way out, I might just pick it up.
Listen, if there can be as much collusion, deception, I won't go as far as bigotry, but we'll get there. In our fantasy critic, thanks to Mike and Roger, you can take the gift card. It'll be fine.
It's fucked up what's going on in the Fantasy Critic, because I saw a Reddit post from Friday talking about what game were they asking about?
Roger was trying to make the argument that Mario Galaxy 1+2 was a partial remake because they added storybook pages.
Yeah, I saw the screenshots from the Fantasy Critic Discord of
Man
Roger
is
in
desperate.
there. They're desperate, but then also, here's the thing. I don't mind them going behind our backs and like going to the Discords and trying to figure things out. Because at the end of the day, the rules are the rules, and the Fantasy Critic rules are the ones that I go by. It's when I'm at my desk and I'm doing my work, and then I hear snickering from the other side of the office, and it's Roger and Mike at Mike's desk talking about they'll never stop us, like whispering to each other as if I can't hear them. It's the taunting that gets me. We gotta do something about these two.
We should. I think we should keep Game Showdown clean. And that just means that friends can give each other things, and it's fine. Someone should show up to challenge me for this title. It's embarrassing, again, to have to keep clowning these people out.
Well, what if I told you that Team Purple is returning on Friday with a new captain?
I would ask you, what's Team Purple? We have a purple team?
Team Purple is Andy's team, yes.
And a new captain.
The new captain.
Andy got his wish. He's off.
Yeah, Andy's been saying that he doesn't want to be the captain of Team Purple anymore. And so this Friday, you're going to have some changes. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, cool.
That's all I'm going to say.
Hope it's Carl Jacobs. He's terrible at this game.
Dude, could you imagine a full season with Carl Jacobs? I mean, you'd see a historical. I guess you can't
Game
get worse.
over, dumbasses.
You can't get worse than how Andy did last season, but I feel like he would challenge it for sure. But he would bring the entertainment. which is what we want.
He'd be entertaining for sure, yeah.
You also want news. Because remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free. Watch us record them live and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Some housekeeping for you, like we just talked about this Friday after Gamescast. Tell everyone that you know that Game Showdown returns. We got Greg returning, the returning champ, repping Team Blue. We got Tim repping Team Orange, and Team Purple returns with a mystery captain taking the helm. You have to tune in this Friday to find out.
Now
who.
that's interesting. I just went like this and gesturing like but it kind of looked like I was introducing you as Team Purple. Are you stepping down as host and are you the new Purple?
Look at that prediction right there.
It's not a prediction, it's a question.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
I can't reveal anything.
It's not going to be Roger, is it?
I'm not saying anything.
Is it Gary? Gary was really scary in the movie thing, but I still beat him. I still got my little...
Well, that was movies. This is video games.
Yeah, I know, right?
You'll have to find out later in the week. Remember,
I'll tell you what, Gary Wood is an interesting guy.
He is.
We don't talk enough about Gary Wood, okay? He's on the Slack and all that stuff, and so he occasionally I put out the thing for video game codes, and he'll hit me up for it. And then just like, I don't talk to the man for, I feel like, weeks. And then I'm just driving to the beach with my family, and I get a Gary Wood text, and I open it up, and it's just him criticizing some game. We got him a code from. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, he's actually using this
just decided to come out and talk about this today on a Saturday morning. I like that.
I love Gary Wood because, when Gary Wood is also somebody who, out of sight, out of mind, right? Yeah. Where it's like, he'll be doing his thing, he's taking care of his kids, being a family man or whatever, but then a rematch will come out, or a Dune Awakening will come out, and all of a sudden, we're best friends.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I have so much Gary in my life, and then we move on to the next game.
Well, yeah, you're aware that he's like insane about Dune now.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know how much we've talked about this. We should get him in for a Gamescast where he just talks about it. Because in the same way he went just insane for Animal Crossing and Helldivers, now Dune, he apparently...
Dune Awakening is the
thing. Him and Nick on a one-on-one for Dune.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Incredible stuff. We're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get a Gamescast, which is about what we do if there are no new games for 1 year, which I'm really excited about. That was one inspired by a Reddit post that 100%. Went up as a Gamescast topic suggestion, and we're actually taking this one.
Thank you, top of the cloppers.
Then after Gamescast is a Kind of Funny podcast, and listener, this is one that you don't want to miss. You're going to learn what Tim was doing over in Paris.
No, we're not.
What about Mexico?
Yeah, Mexico's what we really got to know about.
Maybe he'll reveal that too. Then the stream is Silksong with Andy. If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Gregway won't be recorded until after the KF podcast because KFP is that big of a deal. Thank you to our Patreon producers.
Is Tim stepping down?
Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shaggy Rays and Factor, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Rover Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
Baker's Dozen!
Starting with our number 1, Insomniac's Wolverine is reportedly coming next year, followed by a Venom spinoff. This is from Jordan Midler.
Oh, we're back on that
Chronicle.
rumor train. All right.
Insomniac's Missing in Action Wolverine game is reportedly slated for a 2026 release, followed by a long-rumored Venom spinoff game. The Wolverine game was announced way back in September 2021, as was Insomniac's recently released Spider-Man 2, at which point it was claimed that the former was in very early development. While it takes place in the same universe as the studio's Spider-Man games, Wolverine is billed as a standalone title. Since it was first announced, nothing has been officially shown from the game. However, speculation around the title intensified following the devastating Insomniac hack, which saw playable builds of the game spread online and hundreds of documents about the game's release date leaked. According to MP First, which has a history of reporting accurate information about unreleased video games, Wolverine is currently scheduled for next year. In the same report, it's claimed that a spin-off game focused on Venom is planned to follow Wolverine's release. Greg, we're back here. How do you feel?
I mean, how do I feel? I won't believe anything till I see it. I am anxious for Wolverine, as you'd expect from somebody who loves superhero games and loves Insomniac superhero games and loves Wolverine. It's been... No, you can keep it. It's been, not disheartening. I think there's a much to do about nothing a lot of times in video games where we get to that point like, wait, why haven't we heard about this? The leak stuff was horrible, obviously, to see everything come out and get brought to broad daylight like that. Mm-hmm. And then since then, Insomniac and PlayStation being so quiet about it, it's led to so many rumors and speculations that is still happening? It's been canceled. It's this. It's blah, 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 blah. Nobody really knows anything. The idea that we're back here, awesome. Do we take this rumor with anything more than a grain of salt? Yes, no. Again, like you said, MP first usually on the money, but it's also like if we were to listen to all the games dailies, or maybe if we just did them once a day or once a week, it would be like we're going to be right about a lot of our predictions too, because eventually these games have to surface. They have to happen. Again, too big to fail isn't what I'm saying here, but even if Wolverine gameplay had leaked and all the stuff had leaked and people were like, this sucks, you would have gone back to the drawing board on that as Marvel and Insomniac and PlayStation to make something, right?
Yeah.
So eventually you're going to see a Wolverine game somewhere from them. So that's exciting. I want to see this game. I'm anxious for this game. You know, we never got the Tim Geddes prophesized Wave 2 of PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So you imagine Wave 2 of PlayStation 5 is happening behind the scenes, right? So with Ghost finally coming out here imminently in October, that then opens up, well, what's PlayStation's next big first-party game? I don't think it's Intergalactic. I think that's probably still quite a ways away. So then you'd look at Wolverine and go, okay, is it you?
Yeah. I mean, Wolverine and Saros, I feel like that paints a pretty good 2026 if that's what we're looking at it as. For me, it's the thing where, like, when we talk about upcoming games and we talk about our predictions or what games do you think are going to come out this fall, I think there's a such thing as like gut feeling based off of just tea leaves, right?
Sure.
If you would ask me, when do I think Wolverine is coming out? I would have told you at any point, oh, next year. Next year just feels right.
Any year you ask.
But like not even any year, right? Because like if you asked me last year, I don't think I would have said 2025 unless you find a clip of me on Games Daily or something saying, oh, maybe 2025. But genuinely,
I forget when the leak happened. What was the original release day leak?
Or
release
I forget.
Window?
But I remember
let me know.
There was, when that leak happened, there was a list of planned games that all had like years attached to them.
Yeah.
But those were all
we were already off.
Yeah,
right?
we were already off, right? It's kind of similar to when the Xbox had the leak from the court documents, when we look at them and we were like, all right, Doom, it wasn't even called the Dark Ages. It was like Doom Medieval Times or whatever the fuck it was called. It was like, okay, well, we already missed the deadline on this. Okay, we already missed like half these deadlines.
Yeah.
I feel like the Insomniac leak had a similar thing where you look at it and it's like, okay, well, obviously these are conversations. Conversations can be anything, right? As far as what you're planning and what the actual reality of things are.
If you think games that you know the release date for get delayed a lot, talk to somebody who hasn't announced their release date about when their game's coming out and see how much that fucking moves.
Yeah, and the Insomniac leak stuff was so, like, I think unreliable as a source of this thing is actually happening, to the point where I could have sworn, I forget where I got this information. I wish I remembered. I could have sworn I talked to somebody who would know that was like, oh yeah, the Venom game that was in the leak is not happening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I forget that was like, I guess that was like very close to after the leak happened. But since then, I've been like, okay, cool. I just won't expect that thing. That to me is the news here, where it's like, oh, that resurfacing as a thing that people are saying is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Like, I got more questions about that than Wolverine. Wolverine, 100%. I always expected was coming out next year.
Yeah. The Venom resurfacing here is an interesting one. It's also been interesting when you Blessing clear your mind,
Clearing it,
and you think about Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac.
Yeah.
What's your temperature check?
I thought that game was great, but like nothing that I don't look at that as like a all-timer PlayStation game by any means, right? For me, it kind of came and went a little bit.
Sure.
But I think I felt like that at the time.
Yeah,
I think of gliding, and that's all I can really remember.
I remember the bad Miles Morales outfit.
They did him so
I think
dirty.
about that. I think about how I didn't like certain arcs in the story, like how they handled certain characters. Of course, Peter and Venom is always a weird thing to balance, but I didn't really love some of what they did with the Venom stuff with Peter. The gameplay, it's great.
Stellar. Yeah.
Gameplay is stellar because it's Insomniac Spider-Man. What about you? What do you think?
I remember, enjoying the game. I do think it was, this is the problem when we talk about any sequel, especially a big budget PlayStation one, where it's so hard to move that needle again in the same way. I mean, and I say that, we think about Last of Us 2, which maybe moved it for the wrong reasons, right? Mm-hmm. But even I would toss Ragnarok in there, not as a disappointment, but it was more God of War. That's great. And like there was twists and turns and great game. I'm not saying that. But Spider-Man 2, yeah, I remember we played, as we always did, we devoured it. We all platinumed it. We did it in like a weekend, each one of us, for the review or whatever. Reviewed it and did it. But I am positive about Spider-Man 2. I really enjoyed Spider-Man 2. I want more Spider-Man games. But I've just been interested, me and Nick had a Kind of Funny podcast last week that was a banger. But we talked about Reddits in there. And one of the things, I'm subscribed to both, I think the Spider-Man Reddit and the Insomniac, whatever, a whole bunch of video game Reddits. And there's been an uptick lately of people just shitting on Spider-Man 2. And
I've seen this on Twitter.
And they're like, oh, it was the safest video game sequel of all time. I'm like, all right, well, remember I complained Spider-Man 1 was a pretty safe video game too. So it's just, I don't know, it's interesting to see public perception on it. Or not even public perception, the loud perception of it right now.
Because I do think that is a bubble. I think if you ask most people who played Spider-Man 2, they're probably like,
moved on.
Oh, loved it. Yeah, it was a great game. Right? I think it's like a specific internet gamer crowd that might have more to say about it. But my thing is, and I think this will lead to a deeper conversation, right? I view the Marvel Spider-Man games in terms of video games the same way that I would view like a Spider-Man movie in terms of movies, where it's like, I wouldn't give this best picture, but I had a blast playing it.
That's a great way to put it.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
It's something that, like, if it went up against even you bring up God of War Ragnarok, right? Like, if I'm gonna nominate something, it'd probably lean more towards Ragnarok than
performances,
Spider-Man.
right? Twists and turns.
But like
Atreus and Kratos in the tent. I was thinking about that last night.
Like that's that good shit, right? Or in Elden Ring or like other games. But I still look at Insomniac Spider-Man as a man. Does Insomniac fit this IP so well? They got it. Yeah, because they give me something that has great gameplay, great movement, great fun action, fun story.
And that's what's interesting, I think, about both Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1, is that it is one of those, let me feel this thought out, and we'll see if I'm wrong. It's one of those rare exceptions for a AAA game where I think of it, and what I think of is gameplay. It may be a rare exception for a Sony first-party game, where I think of it and I immediately think of gameplay. Last of Us, I'm thinking of Joel, I'm thinking of Ellie, I'm thinking of Troy, I'm thinking of Ashley. Like, bam, I'm locked in. Uncharted, I'm thinking of fucking goddamn Nolan North out there. You know what I mean? Like, a story beat here or that, and the gameplay's mixed in or whatever. But Spider-Man, I am gliding, swinging. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in between buildings in a gorgeous New York City. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man is best when you kind of turn off your brain and just let yourself have the most fun.
Sure.
Let me just swing around. Yeah, like get into
big
combat,
old Marvel movie.
Do like the different open world tasks, right? And let yourself get lost to it. And that's why I'm excited for Insomniac to be working on Wolverine and to potentially be working on this Venom game, because I guess light spoilers for Spider-Man 2, the way that Venom controls in that game, where he's like destructive and he's like a tank kind of thing,
feels different than Spider-Man.
Feels different from Spider-Man, and I think there's a lot of potential there as far as what you can do with that if you expanded that out into a full game.
You're back to, God, what was I playing recently?
Donkey Kong Bonanza? Come on.
This fucking guy.
Come on.
G-Spot and B-Ho were locked in.
We're back at it.
Yeah, where it was like, why the fuck? You're young. Do you remember Incredible or Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
I never played it, but I remember it, yeah.
Get me another game like that. And so, yeah, if Venom's going to be feeling like that, fuck yeah, let's go.
Dude, Venom, yeah, God, thinking about DK Bonanza in regards to Venom and how you can, make a really great game about somebody who's a tank, or Hulk.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. It makes me want that game to have destruction in it.
Slip Crit says, I just really don't need a 15-hour game of running around as Venom. We don't know shit. I doubt that's what you'd get.
I hope it. Yeah, I hope.
How
it's
long
not
was
that
Miles
long.
Morales? Miles Morales,
like 5 seconds long.
It was like I feel
hours?
like 5-6 hours for story, and then obviously like open world stuff. Probably another 2 hours.
I think you could crank through the Venom story in probably 8 hours.
Give me a 7 to 8 hour Venom
and then
game.
if you want to go Venom it up all over the place,
put it out at like $40 to $50. Don't even make it a full price thing. That's a whole other conversation. That like, do you think that they would do that again? I hope so.
I think if they do, as always, words matter. And so, like, I know this is the rumor, but to talk about a Venom spin-off reminds me of a Miles Morales spin-off, which means, yes, you can't be charging $80 for this.
Yeah.
IMO.
But does
now,
it feel,
that's said based on 2 words here.
Does it feel weird that it's been... What year did Spider-Man 2 come out? Was that 2020?
That was 2023. So I was just looking at the end of the year stuff.
Okay, maybe it's not been that long. In my brain, it's been longer, but I guess that's still soon enough. Say you did Wolverine next year, you did Venom the year after.
I don't know if this is what you're just driving at a second ago. I do agree that, like, we're still fucking around with Venom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that would have been,
like,
hey,
the year after Spider-Man.
A year and a half later, we're doing it. Even the 2 years later, it's out. A year and a half later, we're doing it. We're mentioning it Game Awards.
Yes.
It does feel weird that it's like going to be that far out.
Yeah.
Like even Miles, like take out the Spidey DLC, right? Like the Spidey one was 2018, right? Does that sound right?
Yes.
Right.
Spider-Man 1 was 2018, then Miles
was 2 years later. So yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. I want to bring in some super chats. Of course, you guys are writing in with your thoughts.
You can't see this belt enough when I wear it. I got to figure out a better way to. Barrett, look around for some kind of belt display thing that I can bring, and then charge it to Nick's card.
Deshaun Fortune writes in and says, Prototype is basically a Venom game, and I hope Insomniac's Venom is similar in gameplay. I never played Prototype. I remember seeing the commercials.
Played them both. Reviewed number 1. Check my IGN for that. Maybe I reviewed 2 as well. I don't remember. I played them both. The problem was that, while you're not wrong, because that was Radical, who is the people who made Ultimate Destruction. It came out right around Infamous, and they weren't exactly the same, but they were very similar. And Infamous ate its fucking lunch because it was a better game.
You reviewed Prototype 2.
Okay, cool.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fun game to run around Smash. I think if they would have taken their foot off the gas and just done a Hulk thing. You're a fucking monster man running around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Omega Buster writes in and says, if turning off your brain is what Spider-Man 2 needs, the internet should love it. That's funny. Ty Wilkins VO writes in and says, Blessing and Greg, what would be your best
if you're
professional...
going to use both of us, please use our preferred names, G-Spot, B-Hole.
Thank you. What would be your best professional contact to reach you at about a possible game showdown idea involving video game voice acting? Bless, I think you would love it and would very much fit the show. Here's the thing. I get so many game showdown suggestions. I ignore most of them. You can email me if you want, but I try not to.
It's like when people send an unsolicited book to a publisher, like, we can't even look at this, because if we look at this now and we ever do something like this, we're fucked.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now I owe you $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's how much we make. Again, maybe since we're not making $1 million off every show yet, you should just accept this card. Not from one of your competitors in your show, but one of your friends. You know what I mean? Who took care of you the holiday season last year. I had you come over to my house with my family.
True. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Made sure you weren't alone.
Yeah. Thanks, David.
Played Magic with you.
Oh, Barry just came through and stole the Outback gift card.
To protect you.
Thank you.
Now that's fucked up, because I gave Barrett a BTS toy today for his wife. He should say he owes me too. Why is no one fucking paying it forward to Greg?
Jimbo685 says, best first party PS5 game, Returnal or God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh.
I mean, it's such a... They're saying best. Because if I'm saying favorite, I'm saying Returnal.
Which games?
Well,
Returnal?
they're listing Returnal.
Best first party.
And they say Returnal, God of War Ragnarok, or Horizon Forbidden West.
So
I'm a Returnal guy.
Here's what I would say. It's going to get me in trouble. Here's what I would say in this thing. And you know me, you've listened to me for years. Whenever hypothetical comes up, I overthink it. I think this is a vacuum between these 3 games, and you don't worry about anything else. And that's why I clear my head. I'm saying Returnal. The other 2 are sequels, and they're based on great games, and those great games still exist in the other, Schrodinger's box of 3 games being put up against them.
They don't mention Astrobot, which I think should be in the conversation.
But I mean, you're overthinking the thing. It's not. It's like, hey, here are 3 things. Which is the best? Not, hey, think of the pantheon of games.
Okay, if we're saying just these 3,
yeah.
Can I say my favorite's Returnal and the best is Ragnarok?
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I mean, that's accurate.
My favorite's Returnal, the best is
Honestly,
Ragnarok.
I think it works better as a marry, fuck, kill. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if we're doing that marry, fuck, kill, I'm
marrying Ragnarok. I'm fucking Returnal. And I'm killing Horizon.
And you're a great game. Horizon Forbidden West, you're a great game. It's just you didn't push it forward.
I'm marrying Returnal. I'm fucking Ragnarok, and I'm killing Forbidden West. Even though I love, that's the thing is, we both love Forbidden West. We both love Horizon, but like, come on, competition.
I remember the last third of that game though.
Replace Forbidden West with Astrobot and do it again.
Oof.
Best game? I mean, both
Marry,
of them I
fuck,
pick
kill.
Astrobot. Then I'm marrying Astrobot. I'm fucking Returnal, and I'm killing. Oh wow, that happened real quick.
I think I would kill Astrobot.
I respect
and
it.
keep the other 2.
I might kill Ragnarok.
I didn't mean to, but again, I'm back to the thing of like God of War 2018 still exists.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah,
it's an incomplete story though.
Boy,
Wolverine. We're seeing it next year.
I hope so. I mean, it's been gestating long enough. They have to show something, talk about it eventually.
What do you think about the fact that they revealed this game in 2021 and it's 2025? You're not seeing one peep of it.
I think we're back to wanting our cake and eating it too. Like, if they would have done 3 other games alongside Wolverine and been like, this is the future of the PlayStation 5, would we be happier, right? We talk about this wave thing we want or expecting and didn't get. So I don't think you can sit here and be mad. And like having it so hot on the heels of Spider-Man 2, I think we also understood like, okay, it's going to be a bit.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah. I think it was a nice thing to get out there, to get people excited for it. It definitely worked. I also don't think it hasn't hurt PlayStation having it out there. And I don't think it has
been their one carrot on the stick where it's like Tim used to talk about like unicorn games.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, I think they've been doing a generally decent job this generation, although I might be wrong about this as I say it out loud. I think they've been doing a decent job not teasing games that are too far out. That it's
Sure.
cool, I'll see that never
Yeah.
kind of thing. I feel like Wolverine is the one game where it's 2021, you announce this thing and we go, all right, I guess we'll see this. But then I think because it's Insomniac, we have that light hope that it's like, oh, maybe we'll see it in 2023. All right, maybe 2024. And then the leak happens. I feel like I don't know if the leak threw them off or like made it take longer or whatever, but I feel like that was definitely some turbulence in the ride there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to story number 2. Randy Pitchford goes on the offensive as Borderlands 4 PC performance row intensifies. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Randy Pitchford is on the offensive when it comes to Borderlands 4 PC performance, responding directly to complaints on social media to claptrap back at disgruntled fans. Was that always there? Bear, did you add that or was that part of the article? I don't remember.
What? No, I didn't write anything in.
I swear to God, I read this article before. I didn't read the claptrap back line there.
Wesley, he's doing things out
He's
there.
on
He's an
it.
artist. Journalism.
Fresh from his confusing comments about the reason why the console version of Borderlands 4 lacks an FOV slider, and his declaration that it would have been impossible to break the Borderlands 4 servers through sheer weight of player numbers alone at launch, the outspoken Gearbox chief spent time this weekend addressing the complaints about Borderlands 4 performance on PC. At various points on social media, Pitchford told people to, quote, code your own engine and show us how it's done, please, and declared Borderlands 4, quote, a premium game made for premium gamers, end quote. He also suggested people put their irrational distrust of video game graphics tech, such as DLSS, aside and use it if available to them. There's plenty to dig into here, but ultimately what Pitchford is saying is that PC gamers should manage their expectations when it comes to the performance of Borderlands 4 in the context of their own rigs. Quote, every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they are running is doing. Wait, what's this we're looking at?
Readers added. We're looking at the tweet, but then the readers added context. They thought people might want to know. The publisher of a game is responsible of providing accurate recommend and minimal specs, since the consumer has absolutely no way to check how the game is going to run in the hardware before release.
Oh my God. He kicked off a thread clearly designed to address the performance issues that have sparked so much early discourse around Borderlands 4. Quote, we've made an amazing and fun and huge looter shooter campaign game. The game is pretty damn optimal, which means that the software is doing what we want without wasteful cycles on bad processes.
I wouldn't say that.
Pitchford went on to insist that PC gamers have tools that help them balance their preferences between FPS, resolution, and rendering features, and they should make use of them. Quote, if you aren't happy with the balance between these things you're experiencing, please tune to your preferences using the tools available to you, he said. Then, in typical Randy Pitchford on the front foot fashion, quote, it is a mistake to believe or expect that PCs between minimum specification and recommended specification can achieve all of extremely high frame rate, maximum/ultra features, and extremely high resolution. If that last post makes you have a negative reaction, I bet you have emotions and expectations that you feel aren't sufficiently attended to. I'm sorry. But please accept that the game is doing a lot and running pretty optimally, and that you may have to either accept some trade-offs between FPS features and resolution as your preference, or you will continue to be disappointed, end quote. There's more to the article. You can go to IGN if you want to read more from Wesley Yinpool, but that's where I'm going to cut it off.
Really quick, we have pretty solid beefy rigs here, right? Mm-hmm. And as y'all saw on, what was it, Friday? I think, or maybe Thursday, Mike and Roger were going to stream Borderlands on launch day, and we had to cut it short. Granted, we have some tech issues on our side on a different computer, but the main reason is because these PCs can't stream and play the game at the same time because the game is using like 90% CPU usage. It is not well optimized.
Well, the great news is, Barry, if you can go to assets, the great news is it is running flawlessly on consoles. All right.
Is it really?
No, it's no. I sent in this thing I saw today. It's over on the Borderlands subreddit. PS5 peak performance, 1 frame a second.
Oh my God.
And then the comments, of course, are people drastically trying to bend over backwards to blame the user. So I saw a post yesterday where Harlow's skills can use a runaway effect to infinite status procs. It just happens that you've activated your skill. So that's what I'm assuming is killing your frames per second. Redo your build and just avoid the demon core augment that the universal generator class mod you have. Literally a post showcasing this was just posted. AKA, your build is too busted for the game to handle.
Your build is too busted for the game to handle?
Nerf yourself just a little for the sake of your frames.
Now, my question is...
User error.
Because Barrett's over here talking about, we tried to stream the game and play the game at the same time. What graphics cards do we have in those things, right? Are they 2020s? Like, what are the
50 fucking 90s, man.
Oh, shit. That's like...
And they're barely being utilized because the game is CPU heavy.
Damn, 5090s are really good. 5090s are... Those are the latest ones,
It's like, it was... Looking at the game run, it was like 7% of the GPU is being used and 90% of the CPU. What are we doing here, man?
Damn. Some good news, though. It looks like an FOV slider could be coming. This comes from a tweet from @Borderlands. Vault Hunters, we have heard your feedback on FOV sliders on console. The team is currently exploring how to bring these sliders to both Xbox and PS5 versions. We'll continue to read your feedback and prioritize game updates with your experience in mind. There you go.
There you go, fixed.
I missed the whole conversation about Borderlands 4 because I went on vacation and then people kept talking about it and I just decided not to tune in because I had other things to do. I was playing Ghost Yote.
You're gonna do whatever you gotta do.
What was the temperature? What's the temperature check on, like, I guess, are people enjoying this game? Is the main issue optimization?
For the industry or Kind of Funny's review?
For both.
Kind of Funny, we're fine with it. It's a fun game. It's whatever. Mike's higher than me on it, but I think even that, Barrett, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he said 7.5 is where he ended up on his review after 50 some hours and just getting to end game. I'm lower than that, but not like drastically. I didn't connect with anybody in the world or story, so it's like...
Sorry, what was the question?
Mike's score on Borderlands, I want to say you said 7.5.
Yeah, he was in like that.
JG says 7.5 is what
he said that 6 to 7 range and then gave
playing
it 7.5.
it, and then by the end of it, 7.5 or whatever.
I appreciate what Mike's been doing lately, where he'll say like, "It's a 7.8," and then not give a concrete
No, he
score.
did. He did.
Stealing that.
He did give a concrete score. So yeah, it's a fine thing. And then the reaction to the world, Metacritic was higher than us on a lot of different places. GameSpot, I was in line with Jordan's review of 7.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's doing what a Borderlands game would do, as you would expect or whatever, it seems like.
Okay.
And then the subreddits are all people mad about performance and PC, and it's getting review bombed, and because it's not running on people's machines or whatever.
Well, hopefully that gets fixed.
But it's definitely, I think it's a Borderlands game where it's that people want to go play and have fun with their friends or having fun with their friends, but not setting the world on fire in terms of like, oh man, this is something we've never seen before.
Fair enough. We're going to move on to story number 3, but before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. Speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or in that gas station miles away. We've all been there. Nick Scarpino once left a pair of sunglasses in Vegas, and I've never heard the end of it. It wasn't my fault, but now there's Shady Rays. They've changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. Seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, no replacements. So now Nick can wear his sunglasses without fear on urban hikes, at comedy shows, at the old folks' home, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com, code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Fall always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I love Factor. Their chef prep, dietitian approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. Factor removes the work and gives me a delicious, healthy meal in mere minutes. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, and for the first time ever, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. Eat smart at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use the code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That again is code KINDAFUNNY50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with the code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
And we're back. And I want to interrupt the show with a rare piece of mid-show housekeeping because this came in, I saw it on Blue Sky, and I was like, we got to bring this up.
That's BS, Tim.
That's BS, Tim. We just announced our our new premium collector's item for this month over on patreon.com/kindafunny. I'm going to read Roger's thing here that says, we have a new premium collector's art print over on Patreon, and it's all about Lisan Al Kevin Coelho in this Dune-inspired design by the incredible Panda Musk. Grab it before the month ends. And if you're an audio listener, it is basically a redone version of the Dune poster with Kevin Coelho. And
Panda Musk is so good.
Panda Musk is so good. It looks incredible. Also, shout out to them using like the Dune font, which is just like the same kind of like C shape, just flipped to different directions. They use that to create the K in Kevin.
I'm reading it as Ikun.
Yeah,
at first.
I read it as Equine at first, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing there. This is genius. But yeah, thank you, Panda Musk, for making this, and also shout out to Roger for getting that out. Let's move on to story number 3. Silksong's surprise release was a little callous, says Hell Is Us creative director. This is from Ed Nightingale at Eurogamer. Hell Is Us creative director Jonathan Jacques Belletet called the surprise release of Hollow Knight Silksong a little callous, believing it had an impact on his game's sales. Rogue Factor's adventure game was already locked in for its release ahead of Team Cherry's announcement, but the two games eventually released on the same day. Quote, when you know you're that big, I think a shadow drop is a bit like WoW, said Jacques Belletet on SkillUp's Friends Per Second podcast. Quote, as the GTA 6 of indie, to shadow drop something like this is a little callous, end quote. After Team Cherry's announcement, the Hell Is Us development team discussed with publisher Nacon, I'll say Nacon, whether to change the date. Quote, it was a real thing, said Jacques Belletet. However, the real pain in the ass, he explained, is that changing the release date means refunding pre-orders. And while that wasn't a deciding factor, the team believed they could weather the storm. Still, he admitted Silksong's release did impact the launch of Hell Is Us. Quote, I don't have any specific numbers, he said, at least not at this time, but for sure it did, end quote. Above all, Jacques Belletet highlighted the difficulties of finding an appropriate release window in the current climate. Quote, that's the thing nowadays. Honestly, getting a window where you're pretty much alone is almost impossible. 15 years ago, the mid-end of the summer was always a dead period, but there's no such thing anymore. It's just constant madness, end quote. Yeah, I put up a tweet on Friday that said, imagine delaying your game away from Silksong only to land on the same time as Hades 2. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it is really, that last part, I definitely feel
for baby steps.
I feel for baby steps for sure.
Yeah.
Greg, you played Hell Is Us. Like,
love Hell Is Us.
What is your thoughts on this?
I'm shocked the chat was so against JJB.
Really?
They were all like, fuck you, sour grapes. Yeah, I was like, whoa, like I don't know. I've met him, I know him like fairly well, even outside of a work atmosphere to a degree. Like, I don't think he was like, it was like he wasn't being mean about it.
Yeah, I don't think he was like, fuck Silksong.
He's just calling it out of like, yeah, it's fucking kind of sucks because like, what he's saying is we would have not chosen that date if we would have known that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think he's right. I think he's 100% correct. I think anybody who didn't move from Hollow Knight had an effect on it. I've talked about this at length on shows like this through the years. Gregway's recently of like, there's only so much oxygen and bandwidth for enthusiast press and everything else like that.
Yeah.
A game like Hell Is Us that I really vibe with and I think is made by a AA studio and doing some really cool stuff, even if it's not perfect, right, is a game that needs to come out and have people talk about it to move it. I don't know what we'll ever get, but I can't wait to find out in some respect how many copies this game sold. Mm-hmm. Like I'm fascinated to see if this is done well. Like there's many threads here that I'm super into because I'm super into this game, right? Of like, what did Nacon expect this to actually sell? Did it hit that? What's it looking like after the fact? Where are people at with it in general in terms of blah, 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 blah. There's a million things going on. Before we get to any of that, even if we get to it, to come back to this, yeah, like I can't fucking imagine. Like when this happened, Team Cherry announced their date for Silksong, and I think I came up in conversation because I was ready for this, and it was the thing of like, I would definitely move this, but we're not talking about an indie game. We're not talking about a small game. We're talking about a major game that had physical versions, that had, you know, press materials from a big AA publisher, right?
Yeah.
Like this is one of those ships that is way too big to steer that quickly. And so they were locked in, and they're going to be overshadowed. And guess what? They got their one review day on Labor Day, which was a terrible day to put up your review embargo.
Yeah.
America, for a game like this, probably the biggest market, isn't at their computers. They lose that. They come back the next day, no matter how much everybody tries to talk about it or whatever, it's Hollow Knight Central, and then Hollow Knight drops, and IGN's front page is wikis and articles and updates and how many concurrents. It's like, you're lost. You Hell is Us is one of those games that, to be a success, obviously the game needs to be good, which I do think it is, and I think you should play Hell is Us if you're interested in that kind of thing. But beyond that, in a marketing realm, you need to come out when there's little to no competition, and you need people to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think Hell is Us failed at both of those things, both because of Hollow Knight, sure, and I think that sucks, but also the fact, to his point, there's never a good time to release. But that said, I assure you, this isn't the time ever.
The worst time.
This is never the time to release, as everyone gears up for Borderlands, Ghost, even think about Pokemon and Call of Duty and everything that's coming next in the next few months. Like, there's a window, and this game would have done better right around fucking college football in July.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been the time where like something's going on, or hold it like we always talk about, which doesn't even work anymore, but have it be second week of January. We're all back to work. We have these new consoles and boxes, and everyone's excited for the next thing. Let's try to get some of that Dying Light rub we always talk about of like, cool, I'll take this game I'll take a chance on a game here that's different.
Yeah.
Whereas right now people are pinching pennies as they get ready for the holiday and this, that, and the other. And me telling you the game is great and does a lot of cool stuff that's different, like, that's not going to do it the same way.
I think the best example I can think of a game that I think has a similar sort of vibe to it, as far as being this game that you kind of had to be in the Duffy and have people evangelize it, would be Blueprints, which is
100%.
a game that came out at a time that I think benefited it way more because people had the bandwidth to play it and talk about it and evangelize about it and do all these things.
Yeah.
I think, to your point, Hell is Us is a weird game, right? Like we during its reveal and during its trailers, we would go back and forth of like, all right, is it a Souls-like? Is it a, immersive sim? It has people that worked on like a Deus Ex, but there's very unique bespoke thing that I think needs, to your point, that word of mouth to do it. And I think when you're releasing right now, I know Steam concurrent numbers isn't the end all be all of how to
terrible though. I saw
talk about these things.
Subreddit, right?
But yeah, to compare it, right?
I only read subreddits now.
Both these games, I have the Steam DB pulled up for both Hollow Knight Silksong and Hell is Us, right? And Hell is Us, the peak concurrence it ever hit was 4,431, right? Right now, there's 1,467 people playing this game on Steam. And that is in comparison to the peak for Hollow Knight Silksong being 587,000 people.
Yeah.
And then right now, there's 240,000 people playing Silksong. Silksong is always going to be better as far as concurrence than Hell is Us, just because it's a bigger name for a game.
Yeah.
But I do think there is everything you said is correct as far as you need every little bit you can get as far as attention, oxygen, games media, all that stuff.
To come back into it, and again, like, I just put on marketing and PR hats, which is fun because I've done our side of the industry so long. A terrible spot to launch this because we are inundated right now with games. And the amount of times somebody's reached out to me and been like, hey, we gave you a code last week. Have you started? Either no, and I'm not going to anytime soon, or no, you're 2 games back and I'm going to get to it when you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. You have that part of the equation in there, right? But it's the fact of this game and its obtuse nature and mysteries and all that stuff, but approachable and digestible, blah, 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 blah. This is so many people in the industry's shit. Like, this is a game that would hit so hard with you if you had more time.
Hell is Us would be my shit, yeah.
I could go and list names at MinMax and Game Informer and da-da-da-da-da. It's just we're all so busy now that you're not going to have that chance. And in the way our jobs and the way podcasting and video games work is there's always the next thing, and it's always more important to talk about what's coming up than what's already come. I think in the grand scheme of things, this game is clearly going to underperform, sadly. I think I worry what it means for the studio, layoffs and everything else we always worry about. Hopefully, Nacon had the right thing. They were already a super small studio, so, whatever. They expected this. But my prediction is that this is going to continue to be a game that hits hard with the audience it has. The people who played it and enjoyed it are really going to champion, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of strikes me as it's going to fall in that Spec Ops The Line thing, where, hey, there was this super special game that got over, and maybe super special is too far. I think it's super special, but whatever.
Yeah.
There was this super special game that resonated with me that got overshadowed by a million other things going on. And then for the rest of video game commentary, there'll be this thread of like, oh, but Hell's Us had so many great ideas and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Will they get a second shot at that? Will they get to do it too? Who knows where it all goes? But like, it's sad because like, as somebody who is a student of the game and sees this all the time, like, this is one, take Hollow Knight out of it. This is one we saw coming a long time ago of just like, no matter what, you're getting into a very crowded period where everyone's starting to get stuff out and there's always awesome shit happening. And it's like, how do you, and you know, you only get one chance at a first impression. This can come to Game Pass. This can be put on PlayStation Plus. There can be a Steam sale for it, but like I don't know how you shock it.
And that was going to be my next question for you, right? If you want to put on that marketing hat, right? Is there, I know you said you don't get a second shot at a first impression, but is there follow-up that you can have on the marketing side or on the development side of like, be it Game Pass or PS Plus or another trailer for an update or something at Game Awards or some kind of thing to get this game back into the ethos? Because I think the thing that I would hope for now is that this game just ends up being a slow burner where a month from now, 2 months from now, over time, people are like, oh no, you got to play Hell Is Us. Like, oh man, we all slept on Hell Is Us. And then you see that over time audience start to come to it.
Oh man, I really don't know. I wish I could. The problem I think it has is that this is a problem in quotes. But Hell Is Us is a finite product. It's not a Elden Ring. You're putting 70 hours in and you've barely scratched the surface. And there's this thing, and if you do, and no, I'm just making shit up. But you do this, you find this, you find it, or some living, breathing world. So I think DLC, we all know, doesn't perform usually nearly as good as the base game. So like to do a DLC trailer at Game Awards, no, like that's not gonna get like, oh, I didn't even play the first one. All right, I never played the base game, so why would I jump in there? To do a big sale, okay, like, can we convince? You would need like. They're trying. Full disclosure from our side of the industry, right? Like JJB's here. JJB, like I got hit up by PR2 of like, oh, you really liked it. We'd love to get him on a podcast. And I got him on a Gamescast, and then I got a review. And I told him when I booked them through the PR. I told PR when I booked him, like, hey, you know how much I love the game. I'd love to do this. I'll book them, but if another review comes along, I'm gonna have to move it. No problem. Literally that afternoon, code came in, new review embargo, kicked it. All right, you're locked there. Then something else happened. I'm like, I'm just going to cancel this because this is going to keep happening. And this is where we're at in terms of headlines. So it's like, I don't know how you get that moment. You need that moment. You need a big moment to do it. And I think Hell Is Us, the narrative of making the game is what's one of the things that's so interesting. We are this small team in Montreal. We did everything in-house. We have an in-house composer. That's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? With the exception, I think they said, of voice actors, like everything was done in-house. We talk about, Expedition 33 only had a team of 30, whatever. I think
people would say
30 people, and it's like, well, they have contractors. And I'm sure there's contractors on this game as well. But it's another one of like, they deserve kudos for that. This is also, everybody was so upset about, Deus Ex never going anywhere, and JJB's like the guy from Deus Ex, right? So it's like, there's a narrative here about them making this game that is this AA experience that's, gonna be like Souls, and it's gonna be like Kojima, and it's gonna, like, there's something there, but packaging that again and getting that out and trying to get that moment, unless I'm underplaying how many people in the industry played it, and it gets to Game Awards, and somehow it's in Game of the Year conversation, which I don't think it is. But you know what I mean? You get it there, and it can win a big award, and we can do it around there, and we can have some kind of announcement. But it's like the game is finite, so I don't even think you could be like, hey, we're putting out the first hour for free, or there's like that's what you got to do. But I don't know how you get people into that. Yeah, and I think a good example of it from Nacon as well is RoboCop, where RoboCop, another game they published that we were all like, okay, this is gonna be dog shit. Oh wow, this is fucking cool. A great AA RoboCop RPG, weird. Like that hit the way it hit, and then they put out this DLC that Mike played, but it wasn't a DLC, it was a standalone thing, and it was like, that's cool, but I never even finished RoboCop as it was, so why would I jump into that? Like, once the genie's out of the bottle, I don't know a really great way of being like, here it is.
I would love to see a no-clip documentary. Not that a no-clip documentary would save it by any means, but everything that you're saying, I think, brings me back to Prey when that came out, which was a game that I would probably say is like an 8 out of 10, but it's an 8 out of 10 that I fucking adore, right? And like, what brought me to that game is they released Prey Mooncrash as a DLC, and they had a very, very like specific audience, the cult audience. I was like, yo, this is some of the best stuff I've ever played. And I watched the no-clip documentary, and I went, I was like, yo, I gotta play Prey.
And see, again, that's part of it. And like going to that studio months ago and getting to meet all the different people there and see how small the team was and see how much they cared and how much they were into it. Like that didn't influence my score of it, but it definitely, I think, is, in terms of how do we tell the story now, the most interesting narrative backbone about it. But then the problem is you're trying to tell that backbone on Kind of Funny in a year where it's like every Gamescast is taken up by something. I can't move it around because we have all these great ideas and great reviews and great previews and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you fight for that space to go and make it? I don't know. I don't know how to make it work, and I wish I did. And it is that idea of like even me giving it a great review and telling it, it's only motivating so many people to go pick it up.
The Sphinx in chat says, is Prey Studio not working on Blade? No, Prey Studios, they closed down.
Yeah, they're gone.
That's
right?
Arcane Austin, right? They went on to work on Redfall, and then, they were the part of Arcane that then got shut down. Arcane Lyon, still alive, right? And they worked on Deathloop, and now they're working on Blade. But even, the one that I just referenced ended up being a sad story. And so, man, industry's tough.
Industry's incredibly tough right now, which I think then goes back to the comment that, again, I don't read JJB being like, these fucking Silksong people, as much as like, they knew they were going to eat up the oxygen. We had picked this date, and then they moved to that date, and that sucks because, again, we are a giant physical product. We can't move that way.
Let's move on to story number 4. Lego Voyagers reviews are out. We got a review roundup for you. On Metacritic, it is sitting at a 79. On OpenCritic, it is sitting at an 80. Can you do me a favor and find like the Steam description of it? I meant to put it in here to let people know what Lego Voyagers is. But let me start off with a review from Ryan McCaffrey at IGN, who gave it an 8 out of 10 and said, I would absolutely love to see the adventures of the 1x1 red and blue bricks continue, because Lego Voyagers lays down a fantastic foundation that simply cries out for more. More story, more puzzles, and more time in this fantastically presented world. The building blocks here are incredibly solid, and I'm confident there is more goodness to mine in this plastic brick well than the 3.5-hour campaign can deliver.
Ooh.
That is music to my ears, actually.
Yeah, no, totally. Especially for co-op, right?
Yeah.
Especially for like Split Fiction, great game, don't get me wrong. But how many times you're like, this could just be, when I get a co-op game, I want it to be one sitting. I don't want it to be, I got to limp on it.
1 to 2 sittings at most.
Yeah.
Do you have it pulled up?
I do. I put it at the bottom of the thing for you.
Sick. Go for it.
The Steam description reads, from the makers of Lego Builder's Journey comes a new 2-player co-op adventure about friendship and play. When 2 friends make it their mission to rescue an abandoned spaceship, they embark on a journey beyond their wildest dreams.
Yeah, this is one that was revealed earlier in the year, and I think all of us were like, oh, this looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, because so many people loved Lego Builder's Journey.
Yeah. So to continue on with Ryan McCaffrey's review, he says, as a result, its ideas never got complex enough to blow my mind with clever solutions in the way that the best and most memorable puzzle games do. Nevertheless, I wholeheartedly recommend a quick run-through Lego Voyagers with a friend, or better yet, your child, if you happen to be a parent. It may be a tier below Hazelight's Split Fiction and It Takes Two when it comes to delightful mandatory co-op games, but it's still an excellent 2-player time for gamers of almost any age. Mark Delaney at GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10 and said, Lego Voyagers is a gorgeous and touching story of companionship built for 2. And then finally, Roland Bishop at GamesRadar Plus gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars and says it's charming and easy enough to logic your way through. That's awesome. This is one that I... Not that I was going to miss it, because they've been pretty good about being in my emails. I've been seeing all the press releases and stuff. But one that I think the industry or the audience might miss because there's so much going on, like we just talked about.
Back of the line, there's too much going on right now. Although, again, like, the cool thing about making these co-op games is you are speaking to such a specific audience. And again, the 3.5 hours thing, I do think it is like that. Oh man, me and my partner love playing games together, right? That you could do it, hey, rather than jump back into Borderlands tonight on my own or whatever, rather than we go play Warzone or you go play, I keep saying rather than me play my single player game, why don't we do something together rather than watch a movie and you play through this? And I think that would work. But again, that's a smaller audience, even though Hazelight would argue it's very large.
Yeah. And then finally, let's end with story number 5. Netflix's The Witcher Season 4 premieres this October with a new teaser that shows off Liam Hemsworth as Geralt. This is from David Carcassole at WCCF Tech. Netflix's adaptation of The Witcher is set to begin its 4th and second to last season this coming October 30th, the streaming company has announced, with Liam Hemsworth in Geralt's boots after Henry Cavill left the show. Alongside the premiere date announcement, Netflix also debuted the first proper clip of Hemsworth in the role. While Cavill got the show going, and Netflix's adaptation is certainly part of what helped get the momentum going in what can now be called a renaissance for video game TV and film adaptations, it'll be up to Hemsworth to close out the show as he helms its final 2 seasons, which were shot all together. So once filming ended, Netflix just had to put it together.
All right, but remember, of course, you're stretching a bit. This is based on the books, not the video game.
That's a very good thing to mention. We did an episode of Gamescast last week where me, Roger, Mike, and Nick talked about upcoming movie adaptations. And one of the questions I asked was like, what was the thing that got us in this era of like every video game getting adapted? And I think I left out Witcher because we had mentioned like, you know, the Sonic movie, the Detective Pikachu movie, the Last of Us show, right? Like we're seeing huge successes. But I would throw the Witcher Netflix adaptation into that conversation too, as far as I think where this big wave came from, even knowing that it adapted the book. But I still think the game
like helps with
of course.
It's at.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. And it exploded. I know, the game, Witcher 3 again, it's like that Fallout thing we talked about, right? Where it went to the top of the charts and yada, yada, yada.
Do you watch Witcher, the show?
Dude, what a weird saga that was. Where Witcher 1, God, and that was still COVID, right? Like, I remember Witcher 1 being all about singing the song, restarted Witcher 3, did all this stuff, so into it. And then it was one of those that just getting to season 2 took way too long or whatever. And by the time it got there, like we watched one episode, but it didn't click the same. We bounced. And so I've never been back. Yeah. And so then they made this announcement. And I was like, all right, just cancel the fucking show. And I forget, chat. Well, I guess no, this is saying your first glimpse. So at the end of the last season, did Liam Hemsworth become him, or like
did Cavill become Liam Hemsworth?
I
just thought they were replacing the actor.
Are they just replacing him? I can't remember.
It's just a recast.
I couldn't remember. At one point, there was a rumor of maybe when everyone was trying to figure out how they would do this.
He's handing down like the Witcher mantle.
No, you could like drink something. He needed to change his face for whatever. I didn't know if they did that or
like
whatever.
A druid or something.
Just like recast. Okay, I apologize. Forget about it.
Interesting.
Can you bring asking if it's like Doctor Who.
The Doctor Who, but it's Geralt. That said, like he looks fine.
He looks fine. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, but damn, hate to see it. Greg, whether or not Liam Hemsworth can fit the role of Geralt, that's going to be a big thing for us to see.
Huge.
But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where would I go?
You'd go to our last news story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Story number 6 is We News. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has now sold 4.4 million copies. Sandfall Interactive has confirmed.
Good job, everybody.
Good job. We're doing it. And then Day of the Devs is teaming up with the Game Awards again for the annual Day of the Devs Game Awards Digital Showcase. Day of the Devs, the Game Awards Digital Showcase this year kicks off on Wednesday, December 10th. That is one day ahead of the Game Awards. And that is it for We News.
Yay!
Let me take one more peek into Super Chat to see what y'all are talking about. Rance Cox writes in and says, regardless on Silksong / Hell Is Us, it probably is easier to have it in more hands because the system requirements are easier on Hollow Knight versus Hell Is Us. If you're talking about the numbers, sure, I see that, right? Like, I can play Hollow Knight on my Steam Deck, and so maybe I'm more likely to do that. And also, there's so many factors, right? Because then we get
price
into
in general,
pricing and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think how big the gap is between those Steam numbers might say something more. And really what they say is that, like, Silksong is the fucking popular-ass video game.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I wasn't even talking about, well, I guess I did bring up a money equation. But again, this Hell Is Us needed a lot of attention to become something big. And it's just launching at a time where no one has the attention. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to have like a long conversation, and I would love to do a spoiler cast, and I would love to do an interview, but it's just too competitive right now.
Ty Wilkins says, what game would you say encapsulates what you're talking about? The idea of weird, unknown, perfect timing of release became a powerhouse. I mean,
Blue Prince was a great pick.
Yeah, Blue Prince is the one that I'll stick by. Claire Obscure as well. Yeah. Although Claire Obscure, I think would have found the audience. either way.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting alternate future to live, though, if Clear Obscura came out the same day as Silksong.
Yeah.
Because I think you would have started off with Silksong absorbing all the energy.
Yeah,
but I think Clear Obscura would have gotten there.
Sure,
like, give
for
it
sure.
a month or two.
I mean, it's a way different game, but Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, Fall Guys like is a weird game that came out at the right time. Same thing with Rocket League. Now, granted, that was a PlayStation Plus thing, but I mean, like, again, you look at like what could have taken Hell Is Us to a different thing. I'm trying to think of like what I mean. I do throw out the one I did, or I want to say Dead Rising now, but that's not it. Dying Light.
Oh, Dying Light.
Dying Light,
yeah.
of course, is always that original one in 2015 2015 that launched in the spring when nothing, or the winter, January, February, where nothing was happening, and all of a sudden it was everywhere because there was no other new games to talk about.
Yeah.
Go
Mellow
through
Fellow.
the Gamescasts and find the ones where it's us just bullshitting about whatever.
Mellow Fellow writes in a good one, Balatro.
Oh, yeah. That's a really, really
Outriders. Outriders is a great one.
Outriders is
Alex,
another great one.
Alex, that's it. That's the
Yeah.
shit right there.
good one. Even like, I mean, somebody in the chat mentions Helldivers 2.
Sure.
I feel like that's a good one, too,
Right
right?
game, yeah,
Right game, right time. People had the bandwidth to hop into like this big multiplayer thing.
Yeah.
That was like the same. Was that the same time as Power World? Was that like a month after Power World? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let's see. We got one from BG2580 who writes in and says, I'm worried about Little Nightmares 3. October is too busy for that game, even if it's horror. It should have been out by next week. Yeah, I mean, that was my one thing when I did the 2 Bandai Namco previews when I went to PAX. Digimon and then also Little Nightmares 3. And I came out of both of those positive, but both those games are coming out in October. And I know for me as somebody who enjoyed those previews, I'm not going to have time for those full games.
Yeah,
Digimon would actually be the example of if Digimon came out at a time where nothing else was happening, you bet your ass I'm playing Digimon. Like, I would be all up in that game.
You bet your fucking ass.
You bet your fucking ass I'm playing fucking Digimon.
I have it on my list, Bless, just for you.
Hell
to pay
yeah,
attention to.
Resolute says, please read his posts about FOV on console too. They are so dumb. I ain't got the time. I scrolled through Randy Pitchford's Twitter profile, like his tweets before this episode, and there's just too many to then talk about. Even the story I had to cut IGN story short.
The advice I would give to anybody about social media, right, is when you want to get in and wade into an argument, period, is to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Social media, arguing people on Twitter, BS, that's Blue Sky, Tim, anywhere, is quicksand. The more you thrash about in it, the deeper you sink into not being able to, and your point doesn't get made the way you want it. It's like, just fucking stop.
Yeah.
And Randy Pitchford is king of falling into quicksand.
I think it's the thing where Borderlands only comes out so often, right? And I think Randy Pitchford gets into the thing that I think a lot of like celebrities do. I wouldn't even put Kanye in this conversation, even though that's a deeper well. But when you have a big creative thing that you're putting out, I think you get attached to what the timeline is saying, what the algorithm is saying about it, and then you spiral and then start tweeting wild shit. I remember when I first joined KF, I was so hooked on reading comments and reading Reddit until I just crashed out. Oh, I didn't crash out, but I had a moment where I was like, damn, this is weighing on me. And then I kind of hit the stride of being like, okay, I ain't got to check everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it's a way healthier place for my mental health and for my mind to be. And I think that's where Randy probably gets hung up is like, they put out, 5 or 6 Borderlands games if I'm counting spinoffs and shit. I guess maybe like even 7. So every time a new one's coming out, I think he's logging on. He's reading everything. Raymond K. Hessel writes in and says, aside from Game Pass, which subscription service in y'all's lives, not necessarily game or media based, would you say absolutely pays for itself?
DC Infinite. The DC Comics app where you get everything and you only get it. Like now the new stuff's only a month behind. Like fucking awesome.
Similar, Shonen Jump is only like $4 a month, and that's all every week updating with new chapters for everything.
I would say Dropout.tv. Their membership is not expensive, and they just got good content. They just got good stuff. I started watching D&D last night because that's my new thing. I'm trying to get into D&D.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to learn through watching their stuff, and they're just all so good at what they do. I think we got one more in here from the top of the show. Oh, we got a few of them. One from Nathan, who writes in and says, hey, KFBFs, would just like to remember my Nana, Carol, a year after her passing. She meant a lot to me. Thanks for all you do. Bye.
Here's to Carol.
Here's to Carol. Sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss.
Resolute had one earlier as well that said someone needs to tell Randy Pitchford to get off of social media and learn how to properly handle criticism. I think that comes back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And then let's do one more from JB, who writes in and says, when's kind of anime Infinity Castle was biblical?
We watched Infinity Castle over the weekend. God damn, what a movie. We are going to talk about it next Monday, a week from now, on a new episode of Kinda Anime, your first episode in 8 months, I think.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, the last episode we did was Bless and I looking ahead at how crazy this year was going to be for anime, and now we are finally getting together. Mike, myself, maybe Blessing, maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Right now, it's not looking good. I'll tell you
all right. We're going to be talking about Demon
set
Slayer.
expectations.
Yeah, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, Dawn to Dawn Season 2, Kaiju number 8, My Hero Vigilantes, and then
Pokemon.
we will be looking ahead at what's coming out. And then, as always, we'll be talking about the One Piece, which I'm going to have a major update on next week. I'll just tease that right now. One more I want to shout out, Bless. Someone asked, they just beat Persona 5 Royal. What should their follow-up be? I would recommend Metaphor Refantasio.
Ooh, that's a good call. Very, very good call. I checked into kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. There's nothing in there.
Crushed it.
Yeah, me and you.
Killed it.
Just right the whole time. And that does bring us to the end of KFGD, where each and every week we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the Gamescast next and the stream after. But
the Kinda Funny podcast after. It's one you don't want to miss.
until next time, game daily.